Okay, so this region's question here says, what is the solution to 2h plus 8 is greater than 3h minus 6? Okay, so this is just a straightforward linear inequality. And based on my answer choices here, I'm just gonna have to try to solve this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first, okay, is I like to try to isolate my variables and get them together to one side. Now, technically, it doesn't matter with an inequality. I always like to have my variables on the left-hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 3h here. I'm going to subtract it over here, and on the left side, subtract it underneath the h here. Again, when we work with equations, when we work with inequalities, it's about balancing. So whatever I do to the right-hand side, I do to the left-hand side. Okay, so 2h minus 3h is negative 1h. Everything else stays the same. So plus 8, this is greater than negative 6. Okay. Now, same thing with the constants. Since my variables are on the left, I need to move my constants to the right-hand side, the other side. So to get rid of this positive 8, I subtract 8 here. I subtract 8 here. Okay. Now, 8 minus 8 is 0, which is why I did that. Okay. So let's bring this down again, just attention to detail here. Okay. Negative h is greater than. Now, careful with your signs. Okay. This is also something that you can always put in a calculator if you're not sure, but negative 6 minus 8, I'm subtracting, so it's a larger in size negative number. Okay. Now just think about 6 plus 8 would end up being 14. Okay. So right here, I've got negative h is greater than negative 14. I don't see that here, as I got to make this h positive. Okay. Mathematically, we can think about it two ways. Is I can either think about multiplying by a negative 1 or dividing by a negative 1. I usually do division just to be consistent. Now, that gives me a positive h, and on the right side, a positive 14. Okay. But what we have to be careful about and what we have to remember is when we deal with inequalities, this step right here, okay, is I divided by a negative number. Now, when you divide by a negative number and you're working with equations, it doesn't change anything. But with an inequality, what that's going to do is that's going to force me to have to flip this sign around. And what do I mean when I say flip is this was a greater than. Now, that's a less than. That just changes the direction. Okay. So h is less than 14 is my answer. And what you'll notice is that h is greater than 14 is also an answer choice. So they're trying to really assess and see if we're fluent with the skill here of having to flip that inequality sign when you divide by a negative. If you don't, unfortunately, you're going to have that trap answer right here as choice 3. So that is something to always be careful of and watch out for anytime you're dealing with solving inequalities.